Well, hey everyone, it's Marcus and welcome to more Zooming in the Jungle Room. Today I'm heading over to the US where I'm speaking to Dale Stewart. Dale is, of course, from Seether, the mega band. Dale, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, man.
Wow, so a brand new album has just come out, a couple of new singles as well. Obviously, The Surface Seems So Far came out in 2024, and Illusion, Judas Mind, a couple of new banging singles. Whew, how proud are you of it all?
Pretty proud, man. I can't believe how long it's been. Couple old guys still knocking around, making music and people still care, man. People still seem to want to hear what we're doing and the response has been great. So uh, if you could take me back 20 years and be like, hey man, 20 years, you're still gonna be doing this, doing the thing, and I probably wouldn't have believed you, but it's cool. Like I understand it's not a common occurrence. I mean, to for your band to kind of break through isn't common to begin with, but to still be around after this long time is even less common. So I try and not lose sight of that, and try and be grateful for everything.
Yeah, 100% agree. And you know what? I mean, that can apply to pretty much any industry, any career in any industry, really, can't it? Um,
I
but
think so. Yeah, I think getting to being successful in any sort of industry is hard, and obviously you got to be good, but also I think there's an element maybe of luck to it as well. So it's kind of a combination of a bunch of things, but yeah, it's not it doesn't happen to everyone. So you got to be grateful if it does.
exactly, and most importantly, you guys are still doing it.
Yeah,
Obviously, it formed in 1999, but that was actually in South Africa, which was,
yeah.
crazy. You were only there for 3 years before you took the band to the US, of course. But what everyone may not know is that originally you were titled Saron Gas as the band,
Yeah.
and obviously changed when you went to America to Seether. Um, and since that time, 9 studio albums, including this one now. Um, Out of that collection of albums that you've created, what would, aside from this new one, which I'm sure is your baby, out of the nine, which one stands out as one of your strongest for you?
Um, it's hard to say. That they're all a little bit different. And they're all kind of a snapshot in time. Um, I'd say maybe holding on to strings, better left to fray. I forget the year that came out, but it was a good decade ago, probably. Maybe a little more even. But yeah, I think that album just um, we worked with Brendan O'Brien on that album, which I think was a big it was a big deal for us. He's sort of the name amongst names.
Yeah.
Um, as far as rock producers, that we admire. Um, so just working with him was great, but I think just I think we're in a good place creatively making that album. I think yeah, I don't know, it's hard to say. Maybe also our first album, Disclaimer, that album as well, because you mentioned we started the band in South Africa and we had those 3 years to compile material for the first album, basically. So when we got signed, moved to New York City, they're like, make an album. We're like, cool, got a bunch of songs. Here you go. And you pick the best ones. And then once that album cycle's over, they're like, okay, we need the second album. It's got to be better than the first one. You've got like a couple months, and you're like, oh shit, like, this now the pressure's on.
Yeah.
So it's making that second album is incredibly I mean, the first album's stressful too because it's you got to make a statement. You want it to be successful. You have no track record to speak of. But then the second one's stressful too because you're like, okay, well, the first one did okay. Now this one's got to be better. It's got to do better.
Yeah.
The label's expecting this. If we don't perform, are they going to drop us? Um, so I will say now making albums it's a little bit less stressful because um, a little bit of that pressure's off. I think we've kind of proved ourselves now. The label believes in us, and they kind of say, "Hey, you guys kind of have carte blanche to sort of do whatever it is you guys want to do, and just
Well,
let us know when it's done, and we'd like to hear it." And then they take it and do the marketing, run with it, and figure out the release. That's all them. They do all the fancy business stuff, and we just focus on the music. So um, yeah, it's just funny how the industry's changed and how everything's changed in the last 20 years. But yeah, it's I think a little less stressful now doing it the way we do it.
Do you find the industry now, because we obviously have seen a lot of changes occur, do you find it an easier industry to work in, or a more difficult, challenging industry to work in, the way music sales happen, etc.?
I think for a band at our level, call it say like a mid to bigger level rock band, I think it's kind of easy for us. Um, Being a new band, trying to cut through the noise, um, I think it's probably quite hard. Uh, it's so easy to get noticed now, or so easy to get in front of a million eyeballs or several million eyeballs. But at the same time, I think it's easy to get lost in the wash of music um and just everything that there's a lot of bands now, but you know I don't know. I don't really know how to word it, and I could be completely wrong because again, I'm kind of an old guy trying to learn his way through this new digital landscape, and admittedly I don't understand it as well as I should. Um, but I would imagine it's hard to kind of separate yourself from the pack, so to speak, nowadays. But I guess it's the same principles apply as they did when we were coming up. You just need to get out there, keep at it, keep trying to release new material,
Mm.
play as many shows as you can, get yourself out there. We did that on the ground. We get in the van, we drive, we'd play, whether it was a house party or um, um, just whatever, a parking lot, a birthday. You played wherever you could, and you got out there. And so maybe now, do that, in person show wise, but also just do it online, make little videos for TikTok that, try and be creative to, get people who maybe don't want to share it, maybe make it funny, maybe make it dark or disturbing, maybe, just try and stand out a little bit. And um, yeah, so I guess there's new ways, and I can't help but think there's going to be some new, every couple of years there's a little bit of a revolution that happens music wise and genre wise, and when I was a kid, it was the whole grunge thing that kind of turned the industry on its head, and I can't help but think there's something cool coming down the way here that's going to be make this digital thing really cool, and really utilize the digital thing and maybe change the way everyone thinks about it. And
Yeah.
maybe it's a new genre or a new form of marketing or a new form of like entertainment that's kind of interactive, or I don't know what it is. Maybe AI is going to have some sort of role to play. It's hard to say, but
Sure.
I just get the feeling something's coming that's going to be kind of cool to see and sort of interesting.
And Dale, I mean, obviously, the world constantly is changing, and so the industry is constantly change as well. So it will never be the end of anything. Nothing will ever stay the same. I mean, my goodness, do you remember when phones literally only used to make phone calls?
Yeah.
There are a whole lot of uses right here. It's like if we had
Yeah.
ourselves when we were younger that on our phones, well, these weren't our phones back then, but on our phones that one day we'll be able to listen to music and have our calendar, have our emails. I mean, what were emails anyway? You know,
Yeah.
everything will constantly grow, develop, and change, and we just have to ride with it because the waves are just going to keep on coming.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's, if you think how far it's come in 20 years, imagine 20 years from now what it's gonna I mean, it's gonna be unrecognizable.
Yeah.
It's a little scary, but kind of a little exciting at the same time. So
Well, hopefully by then we're looking at that. We can do an interview on the 18th, see the album. Fingers crossed.
right.
How we do.
Man, I hope we're still doing this in 20 years.
We might
Maybe,
be.
we've slowed down a lot. We're all, we've got I have two kids. Sean's got, two young kids as well. So uh, Corey and Johnny, their kids are a little bigger, but yeah, it's hard with little kids to tour. So we've slowed down the pace, and also, we're sort of middle age now. So you can't tour like you did when you were in your 20s. But yeah, I mean, we're still doing it. We still do a fair amount of touring throughout the year, and I think in 20 years, if we just tour at a manageable pace, for a bunch of old guys, I don't see any reason
Exactly.
we won't be doing this.
Your
And
fans,
unless people completely turn on us and be like, oh, these guys suck. Like, no.
never, never. Hey, let's get back to the early days, Dale. Who were you listening to growing up that inspired your pathway into the music industry?
Man, I was like a huge Metallica fan, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC. And then when the grunge thing hit, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, really got into a lot of those bands. And then heavy bands, I loved Sepultura, I loved Pantera. Um, and I don't know, just Counting Crows was another one of my favorite bands. Just I was a little all over the board, and then yeah, just but mainly within the sort of rock music genre. And then the older I got, I started expanding my horizons a little bit. Uh, but yeah, just I mean, I feel like it was such a good time to grow up music wise. There were so many great bands, so much good music out there. So um, listening to the Black Album and Nevermind and um, you know, was the Pearl Jam or Verses or 10, or I forget which one was um around at that time that I was big into, but just great music, great inspiration. So really made me want to play music, and I didn't think realistically I could do it for a living, but I just played for fun in my bedroom. Um, and I just can't believe that it worked out like this. I didn't, especially growing up in South Africa, it's not a realistic goal or a dream because hasn't
Yeah.
really ever been a band that's kind of made it out. But we got lucky, and it sort of happened for us.
And so,
Yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
hey, what does 2025 look like? Is there a possible, and you may not be able to tell me this, but is there a chance of a world tour?
Probably not in 25. If we do an international tour, it'll probably be in 26. Got a couple of things going on next year. We're looking to potentially tour in the spring,
Yep.
uh, you know, Northern Hemisphere spring,
Yep.
and then again in the autumn, and then probably break for Christmas and then hit it pretty hard in 26. So I'm hoping we can come to Australia.
Good.
Um, yeah, come down there, go to New Zealand. We normally hit those, while we in the vicinity, kind of just head down to New Zealand as well. But yeah, I got a lot of friends in Australia, a lot of friends in New Zealand. South Africans have sort of um, taken over there a little bit. So
Yep.
um, yeah, so I'm hoping in 26 we can
Good.
go back down and play. We always have a hoot there, man. I love Australia. I love the culture. I love the people. It reminds me of South Africa. So, I
Very
feel like
much.
I
I
fit
agree.
fit in really well, drinking beer, watching rugby, doing the thing. It's nostalgic for me to go there and, sort of get into that similar culture that I grew up in, cricket and rugby and the whole deal.
Well, I mean, not only friends do you have down here, but you got thousands and thousands of fans who are
Absolutely. Yeah.
excited with the news that you could possibly be doing a tour in 2026. I'll be here waiting. I'm in Adelaide, South Australia, so
Okay.
be sure that South Australia is on the schedule. Please
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, if we're going to fly all that way,
do it all.
we definitely want to make it even Perth. We,
Yep.
we, we definitely want to make a very complete sort of tour, hit all our bases.
Yep.
Because it's a long way to fly. And then I'm thinking too, like while we're there, go up and do Asia, because it's not that long of a flight to play
Exactly.
maybe like Indonesia, um, somewhere I've always wanted to go. We've played Thailand before. That was like so much fun. I'd love to go back there. Um, it's a couple, yeah, Philippines would be insane to go, Japan, love to, we've only ever played there on American military bases, we've never actually, played Tokyo or all these places, that I've always wanted to visit. So hopefully we could tie that in as well. But we'll see how much time we have. I'm talking about a tour that's getting really long now, and yeah, we need a couple months worth
It's
to do
2000
that. So
tour that's going to last for 3 years, clearly.
yeah, yeah, right.
Hey, Dale, as we wrap up, please tell us, how are you spending Christmas for 2024? What are you doing?
Um, it'll probably be very, very laid back. Just Christmas, me, my wife, and we have two kids. So we'll just go to the mother-in-law's house. Unfortunately, my parents live a little far away in South Africa.
Yeah,
But mother-in-law lives kind of close to us, yeah. So we'll just go to her house and she'll make enough food for about 50 people.
I'm coming
And
over
and yeah, you should because there'll be plenty of food.
there.
And yeah, it'll just be the five of us, and my kids are at that age now where, they believe in Santa and the gifts and, the elf on the shelf. So that's been a lot of fun, leading up to Christmas to do that whole thing. So, um, yeah, so it's gonna be fun, and there'll be magic, and they believe in all that stuff. So I get to experience it through their
Yeah,
eyes a little bit, and it's really cool for me to have those memories come back as
yeah,
well. So
yeah, because it
yeah,
brings it
I'm
back
looking
to
forward
you.
to it. Yeah, for sure.
Dale Stewart of Seether. Like I said, congratulations on the new album. The
Thank you.
singles that have been released are brilliant. The whole album's amazing. Wish you all the most amazing success for it. And please, I cannot even wait to see you guys when you hit Australia. Fingers crossed in 2026.
For
But
sure.
have a great Christmas, have a wonderful New
Thank
Year's,
you.
and all the best for a successful 2025.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Dale.
Thanks
Bye.
a lot.